conclusion, she
In conclusion,
hearts Brock.
I think Scheana hearts Brock. All right, Scheana and Brock,
Scheana and Brock.
dream couple, according to Scheana. Actually, I don't know if even according to Scheana, but
No, I was gonna say, like, according to who, like, there's not one person at this point.
not even the people in the marriage.
Certainly not the people in the marriage. Used
I
to
mean,
be
should we
Scheana.
attack that? Should we attack that? Because that's just being realistic, you know?
In this case, it's being realistic, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but let's talk about Brock entered the scene 2019. They start dating 2019. But when they started
Wasn't it
dating,
2020 when COVID hit?
no.
Okay.
So Brock and Scheana meet 2019 during like some kind of music festival. But the audience was watching season 8 where Scheana was all over Max.
Yep.
So I think that clouded, well, not clouded, but that informed a lot of people of like, wait, we're literally watching Sheena be obsessed with Max and being boy crazy all along, all around. And then in reality, she's already with someone else and they're moving super fast.
Wait, was she already with Brock when she was filming the all of the like crazy Max thing?
No, not
Oh, when
filming,
that
but the
airing, when it
episodes
was
were
airing.
airing.
Right, yeah.
So us as audience are like, look at how ridiculous and just embarrassing Sheena is being with Max. And then we see an article online where like, oh, she's actually with someone else. Is she acting the same way with someone else? And then this someone else enters season 9 as a regular. He wasn't even like a friends of, he's like a regular cast member season 9. And one thing too is like, you can say like, oh no, we feel like it's super fast because we're watching the airing of the season at the same time as their current lives, so we're like melding it in our brain. But they had a baby in under a year. Like they got pregnant in under a year. That's not even getting married in under a year. That's a permanent baby.
Yeah.
So there's definitely it for me. It was definitely very fast. I could excuse like a marriage because I'm like, yeah, I guess whatever, but a baby, I don't know.
Yeah, and this is with someone that already has a baby. And
Yeah,
it's also like
another
their
reason
relationship really blossomed and developed during the pandemic. That's a very weird time in our lives.
to make a commitment, but also like, okay, so that brings in like the allegations that he was like, like
Oh, yes, that also.
the and that he didn't pay child support and whatever.
Absentee.
So he apparently is saying that he is now current on child
Oh,
support.
good.
He's saying that. I don't know if he is. He's saying that he's current on child support. I think he better be because then he's in the
You
public eye
would,
now.
yeah, I was gonna say you would think that he would be because otherwise he could get called out like immediately. He's saying this to the world.
Yeah, I'm just going off what he's saying. Like he's current on child support, but then he did admit a direct quote that I found on articles directly quoting him and also like the TV show. He did say like, yeah, I slapped my wife, and
Yeah.
then years happened, and my wife's parents hit me with a domestic charge, and then it got dismissed. And I'm like, okay, that feels biased, but okay, you did slap your wife as a 6 foot something rugby player, your wife. Um, Regardless, Sheena decided to get pregnant in under a year with someone that had charges and did not see their kids or pay child support.
And
That's
unpaid
dangerous.
child support. Yeah.
Like maybe he's completely innocent, but like have a little bit more caution around who you're, procreating with. Right? Even if everything that Brock's saying is true, I still would like not jump into baby making mode that fast.
Under a year with someone that has these very factual court proceedings is crazy. But
And
I
I fully
don't know.
believe that they
I
would
don't
have
know.
gotten married because they did get married before their wedding, right? I don't remember when.
I mean, oh, you
By
legal.
the time they were wedding up, they had like gotten married civilly, whatever. But I do believe that they would have gotten married sooner if they could have put the wedding on Bravo sooner.
Well, yeah, because they tried that one season that they try to get married during an engagement or something like that.
Oh
And the
no, like they
things
got
go.
engaged during James and Raquel's engagement party.
No, no, they wanted to get married and they asked them, and people were, it like didn't, well, they didn't. It was just Brock doing it as a surprise to Scheana, but it's like all along. And then at the end, it was like, no, I knew the whole, and everyone's like, wait, you knew? Like, and she's like, oh, but
Oh
no,
yeah, like a
no, I didn't
surprise
know. No.
marriage.
And it was just like, yeah, and it was like, you said you put him up to asking as a surprise for you, like allegedly, but it's like, it was a mess. It was a mess.
I totally forgot about the surprise marriage fiasco. You're right. But that was season 9. If it was during that time, it was season 9 when he was introduced
I
to
actually
the
don't even
show.
know. I don't even know what they were trying to tag along their like marriage onto. I forget what event.
I know that they got engaged when Raquel and James were having their engagement party at that villa type of place. I think
Yeah,
they.
and they like kept it a secret. It's like they're always doing like stupid shit. Like they're like trying to produce. She's like trying to produce, but she's like not a good producer.
Hmm.
Like a really
It's
bad.
a storybook romance.
Yeah.
I think she
It's
does
like
definitely.
Beauty. It is a storybook romance, like Beauty and the Beast. If like Gaston had ended up one of the town's girls after that was after him.
It's like the Beauty and
Like
the
a
Beast
side,
sequel
it's like
where Gaston picks one of the blondes.
it's a side quest in a storybook ending.
Like,
Sheena, Sheena and Brock, the side quest in the fairy tale.
yeah, I do believe that. Where's Sheena? I look at Brock and I'm like, oh, where's Sheena?
No, are you kidding? She deliberately picked that.
I know, and then she's being so obtuse and
Can I say
pick
something here?
me.
I will say and this will haunt me forever. And I'm gonna say it out loud. But I actually liked Brock the first time ever introduced when Sheena said, and this is so fucking shallow of me, but like I remember the context was like they had to like all of a sudden, after very little of knowing each other, had to like quarantine together. And he was like in a lot better shape. And they were doing these like quarantine exercises where he would like take her and do like a whole body like use her as a hula hoop, and I was like, oh my god, that is so weird and like attention seeking, but like it turned out really like cool. That's the perfect guy for Sheena, and the only thing that has changed
That's
is
true.
like he wouldn't be able to do that with her anymore. So it's like Sheena needs something that can keep someone that can keep up with those like little trends,
With the shenanigans.
with the shenanigans.
With her shenanigans. No, I mean at the same time, when he was introduced and Lala brought up that he had a DV case against him
Hey,
and
Lala
he
brought it
blew,
up.
flew off the handle, I couldn't see any of their TikToks or Instas or anything without being like scared for Sheena because of how like crazy he got, like how angry he got. Which like we can say like I guess I would be angry too if I was exposed like that. But
Now
he's
you
a
expect it.
really big guy who's showing his like very real anger at a woman that in front of cameras. I'm just like, what are you gonna react? How are you gonna react if she had brought it up like before they started recording?
Also, if you have those kinds that history and you're on one of the most watched reality shows of the US, you would expect public information about your past to come out, number one. Number two,
Yeah,
I just right now you reminded me that it was Lala that brought it up because now they're like BFFs. It's like so weird. So
yeah.
weird.
And she's BFFs with Schwartz, and she's BFF with
Like
Sandoval.
she
Yeah,
just lets like men disrespect her for free.
yeah. I think if she can be the angriest person in the room, she's happy. I
I
think that's her
guess.
issue.
She's
Angry.
not really angry. It's just this like facade. Because if she was really angry, then she wouldn't be friends with people that have been so like disgusting towards her.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. I mean, well, okay. I think we've established that we don't like Brock.
Just a little bit
A little bit. Do we like Brock more than we like Scheana, or less, or where are we?
less to me.
Okay, definitely. I mean, I was a Scheana stan before this season because I felt like,
Yeah.
yeah, she was messy and she made a lot of mistakes, and the way she acted was completely irrational and just wrong, but she was entertaining. But this season, I'm just like, oh, I'm no longer entertained by your bullshit. I
No,
don't like
I
you.
always saw her as the kind of girl that, yeah, she probably did make out with Schwartz while him and Katie were together. Like that does not shock me. That is like that is the kind of that is the perception I had her under.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I always gave her the excuse of like she's acting this way towards women that have been very catty to her. So she doesn't owe them that much loyalty. But this season, it's like, oh no, you're actually just a mean girl who
Yeah.
is upset that you weren't in the mean girl club from the
Yes.
beginning.
Yes. Because it's like
Maybe you're a little too
for,
dumb to be in the mean girl club, but you're a mean
looking
girl.
for the chicken or the egg. The chicken is Sheena being hated, and the egg is Sheena being a hateable person.
Oh, yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So moving forward from that, that's hard to get over. You're totally right. Um, so right now she's she's doing that her podcast, which is terribly boring.
Yeah, she's doing her podcast, which, by the way, a little like nugget of info that she revealed this season is that, uh, and it's not private info, but I didn't put it together. Her podcast was canceled before the pandemic, and then it got revived. But didn't know that does make sense. Or not the pandemic, sorry, before the Sandoval thing, Scandoval. And
Yeah.
it got revived, but it's like, oh, I can see how that, how your podcast has been canceled before. I'm sorry.
I mean, going off of that, I liked her. I used to like her up until 2024. I used to like
That's
Sheena
crazy.
Shea, or 2023, whenever the season started airing. I used to like Sheena Shea, and I would watch her podcast, and I couldn't make it through. And I liked her. I can't imagine how it's going on right now, but I can't stomach it. I'm not surprised that it got canceled. But also, like, you're a celebrity with a big name behind you, like the Vanderpump. Could you have just gone onto YouTube and started your channel
Yeah, for sure.
if
And
you had something
she did,
interesting to
I think,
watch
right?
to talk about?
Also, side note about this is I'm really enjoying the feud that Sheena Shea has with Nick Viall. I don't like either, but I think Nick has, of course, way more viable points. But I'm just like a joyous spectator in this feud. This is like a very enjoyable one.
So outside of his podcast, I have no point of reference to Nick Viall. You've told me what he's from, and I don't want you to repeat it.
I could
because
go,
we're
no,
not.
because I could do a like 50-minute recap on
Yeah,
it.
we're not getting into it. I know you told me what he's from. I don't know and I don't remember. I've only known him from a podcast. I don't watch it regularly, but he is entertaining. A lot more entertaining than Scheana.
He's entertaining and reasonable.
And he has really good co-hosts. I
Yes.
really like their take.
Co-host, I love the redhead with the chopped like medium length hair. Love it. She's
No,
cool.
and then his guests have also been like pretty good guests. Like I think he's doing a good. So for me to like, oh my god, this guy is so interesting, and I'm not even watching him for like the celebrity part of it. Like he's definitely forging ahead with something very successful. For someone like that to have a feud with Scheana Shay,
But
who
it's
like,
a funny feud because he is not mad. He's
well,
not.
that's the thing. I think it's a feud in Sheena's head. There's no way someone like
Yeah.
that is having a feud with like Scheana. Who's having a feud with Scheana? And is Scheana coming up with any good points? I don't think so.
She has like a terrible like little phrase that she's like put on merch and it's like cheesy as hell. She's like,
Is it good as gold?
no, it's about Nick Viall.
Oh,
Like how it's something to the effect like he's obsessed with her, but it's like a little catchphrase that's like rhymes or something. And it's so cheesy. I I'll think of it. I'll put it, we can put it here or here.
okay. But like, so she's upset. I think they started being upset, and I just see that this because Nick Viall called Brock payroll husband. I think that's what started it.
I don't know
I'm
what.
pretty sure because then Sheena went on a rant saying, I thought we were friends. I went on your podcast and like your girlfriend is also a payroll girlfriend, but payroll husband in the colloquial sense does not mean that you're paying your husband because he works for your company.
Yeah, it doesn't. It means
Payroll
your
husband,
husband for being your husband.
it's almost like a different step from like gold digger or sugar baby. His job is to play your husband and he doesn't love you. I'm not even
You're like,
part. But
you're like,
I mean, would you define it in a different term?
no, that's you said what you said. And yeah.
And he's not even playing a good husband. Is like the worst part of
That's the
it.
worst part is like he's not worth it. Whatever you're paying him, he's not doing a good job. Fire him. Fire
Fire
him.
him. Yeah. Pay decrease.
Or something like
It's just so part of it too is that so they obviously don't get the payroll husband, but he does have a business of his own, which I had completely forgot about since season 9. Remember when he
fitness
wanted
thing.
James to be in it for free, and he's like, I don't think so.
That was so funny. That was
Apparently, that's still going on. I didn't know this.
it's like a fitness thing now.
I don't even know. I think it's the same business. I think it's the same business. I don't see him doing anything else.
Yeah, but I don't remember what it was.
I thought it was a fitness app.
Yeah. Are you sure he's still doing that? Or he has like other investments, like things going on. I don't
I
know.
don't know if he's still doing the fitness app, but I do think it's kind of like he's trying to work on the umbrella, the fitness umbrella,
Yeah.
getting his like corporation and his career going. So in one of the episodes, he actually complains that the reason he can't get his career going is because Sheena won't hire a babysitter.
What?
He
He says that? That's
says that episode
crazy.
9, episode 10 or 11.
But he hates her mother. Even though she would allow him to like do his be
Right.
star he's supposed to be.
If the problem is you can't fix your career because you have to watch your daughter. I'm assuming that's because he literally says it's because she won't get a nanny. But it's like I'm assuming it's because he has to watch the daughter instead of the nanny. Like if that's the issue, then why isn't just mom gonna babysit and then you can go be an entrepreneur?
Or how about you're an
It
entrepreneur
doesn't make sense.
mother slash father? If Sheena's paying the bills, how many women out there are like doing their side hustle, taking their kids on meetings, or like doing their meetings on Zoom with their kid in the background, like while their husband is going out and doing
Mhm.
the 9 to 5. So just like get it together, sacrifice some things, work harder. What can I say? People just don't want to work anymore. Brock.
Brock, mostly Brock.
Yeah.
um, I can't imagine Sheena's podcast taking up a full time job worth, especially when they're not filming for
If
BPR.
it doesn't, but if it does, it means you're a producer and you're getting paid like a producer. But I guarantee he's not.
That's one thing. I don't see Sheena being like the producer and media and like being like the main person in that podcast. It does seem like she just shows up. Maybe not. Maybe she's like the driving force of this. But then like she's the breadwinner and then support her by taking care of your own child. Dude, you have child abandonment accusations and you're complaining because you want to drop off your kid with a babysitter.
And not
That's
her
such a bad
grandmother.
take. That's such a bad take.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, what's wrong with mom? Because we've seen Sheena's mom, Erica, be on the show, and she seems lovely.
Literally, the only thing that he has brought forward against mom has been that she is too hard on Sheena and validates her anxiety.
Critical. Yeah.
And so she like validates her anxieties. That's not, I'm sorry, but that doesn't seem abusive or a reason to not let her help everyone in the best, most loving way you can. Like,
Yeah.
get rid of him. For the love of God, he's ruining everyone's lives.
That's the thing too. Like, why are we not seeing scenes of Brock and Erica, Sheena's mom, interacting?
When we
And I
do,
can only imagine it's because Sheena and Brock don't want that to be filmed.
we have like twice short, and he's like
Too short.
rolling his eyes, and she's rolling her eyes. They hate each other. It's
But why? You know,
palpable.
like
It's palpable, and this woman is the same woman that in season 1 went with Sheena, like old school Jersey Shore looking Sheena, both of them together to get a tattoo. And she was like a hoot. And like, just like, she came off season 1 like this mom, like the Regina George mom of like, are you kids okay? Drink here because it's better if you. That was her persona. And to go from that to someone that Brock hates, it's like, what
to someone.
do? Or like, how are you rubbing her the wrong way when she's like this like liberal, cool lady that like is just like spoils her kids, if anything, is like her one, like what happened there? Where's the disconnect? And it's obviously not Sheena's mom.
That's the only thing we know about Erica is that she seems like a very permissive mom. She's not like other moms. She's the cool mom. And she just seems very permissive and easygoing and kind of equally immature to Sheena. So I just don't see this woman being overly critical and chastising to Sheena now because there's a baby. But we do know that Brock has anger issues and we hate him. So I really just that to me is like, yeah, I think we don't see enough interactions because I think just Brock just wants to have a stranger in the home and not have Sheena's mom there.
Yeah.
And it might be like he's trying to isolate Sheena or he's trying to just be controlling or maybe he wants to sleep with the nanny. But there's a reason that like why would you isolate your wife from her mom and be so adamant about it? Because if anything, I'd be like, hey, let's go to a family counseling so we can establish some boundaries
Yes.
so that you can take care of my child, because I trust a family member that loves us more than I trust a perfect stranger.
In this day and age, too, you can't trust anyone. You can definitely trust your wife's mother, who has always been there for your wife.
I mean, we have a good mom. So I would like, to me, like if anyone came to me and said something like that, it's like immediate divorce.
Oh my,
I
yeah,
wouldn't
it's
let it
like,
get that
wait,
far.
what are you plotting? Yeah,
That would be a huge. So I see it as a huge red flag. But
yeah,
also, let's talk about, and this is off topic, the allegation that Raquel also slept with
yes.
Brock.
Not off topic, because I have a theory that the reason they hate each other is because they all know that he did something, but they don't bring it up because they don't want to make it public. But I feel like there's some resentment from both Scheana and Sheena's mom, where it's like, where is this coming from? Did something already happen with Brock?
Well, that's the thing. I do think that he doesn't want mom there because he doesn't want someone to see him being shady and go tell Scheana. And a stranger, it's easier to get away with that stuff. But also the way Scheana is acting, her like mental breakdown when they were doing the Tahoe retreat, and her not trusting him and going
Oh yeah,
golfing,
when she
and
went inside, to
she's
the
definitely
cabin,
asking.
he went after her and they had a huge fight independently from the Sandoval thing. Yes.
She's acting like she was cheated on without saying it out loud. Like she absolutely is acting like he stepped out, and they're trying to work on it without it being filmed.
Yep. Totally. I can see that.
So this season, seeing their interactions, I'm almost like, did Brock also like maybe kiss Raquel, or
Or maybe
like,
not Raquel, maybe it could have been anyone else too.
or they're saying like Raquel had sex in Sheena's bed. Did she find Raquel in a compromising position and Raquel just say that she was sleeping with someone else? But it was like just Raquel in the bed, and then or was she Raquel more like outgoing and like stepping in naked into the bedroom or just walking around in like a provocateur way? Was there
No, because you
something
know what?
there?
Sheena's not stupid in that sense because she is that girl that
She
would do.
wouldn't have. Oh no, she would never have forgiven Raquel.
Not only not forgiven, she would have clocked it because she knows those ways.
I don't know, because I also think she would have sided with her husband, and if the husband didn't want it to become forward, she would have swept it under the rug.
I don't know, but there is something weird going on there.
It is very, very weird. It's very weird that you would rather have a stranger watch your child than their mother, and it is horrendous that you're not being like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of my kid while they're like in toddler age, because they're going to preschool, kindergarten later. Like it's not that many years, and it's not like you did anything with your career up to the point that she arrived.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, every time we start talking, I just dislike everyone we talk about more and more as the conversation progresses. So yeah, that's concerning. Are we concerned for Sheena's safety?
No, no.
I'm
She does
concerned for her
not, I'm not.
mental
No, she has
mental health.
no, she has a lot of self-worth and also, well, arguable, but she has a lot of like support systems. She's fine.
Well, like the way the way that he talks to Ariana and Katie, like he is so upset with them for no reason because he has like no dog in that game. But even before Sheena flip flopped, Brock was saying like, oh, we'll see if we'll still be friends with Sandoval. You know, he was the first flip flopper even before Scheana admitted that she was gonna flip flop. And then now she's like, well, if Ariana doesn't like Tom, she can just leave. If Ariana doesn't like it, she can just leave. She's castrating him. He's talking about Katie's double standards, but all of this he's yelling. He's yelling at these women. And then you see Scheana and Brock kind of start getting into it. And he's saying, like, well, he apologized. So what else does she want? And like, and that's when he said, like, if Ariana doesn't leave it, she can just leave. And I'm like, I wonder if that's how their arguments go. If Scheana brings up something that's concerning her, and Brock just turns around and says, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. You know, or she says like, hey, the way you're acting is bothering me, and he says, well, I apologize. The same sort of accusations he's throwing at the women, and in like a very angry way, is he using those points to argue with Scheana. So like, I am 100% concerned for Scheana, and I fully believe like, you just had a baby.
No, but you know what about Scheana is I will say that this about her. Like I dislike her for a lot of reasons, but I will say this is I believe her to be someone that is always seeking her best interest in a good way. I know that sounds like not a good thing, but like I believe her to be someone that's like, I have so many prospects, and that's one of my notes on this about Brock and Scheana is like she is getting to a point where she's like, I miss the attention. I could be having so much more fun if I was single. I think I'm like getting tired of this life and I'm ready to go back. That is where I see Scheana being like, I like dating. I like the attention. I have squeezed what the anything gratifying out of this. And I'm ready to like get more attention and more like good times. And that's not something I necessarily blame her for. But I see her being sick of it, getting sick of it. And I see Brock being kind of like a little bit at times being a little bit desperate. Like, am I losing her? And she, when is he going to get anything like Scheana ever again?
Well, I think Brock would have already left her if his career was up in the air and he could cut ties with her. I do believe that he would have already left.
Yeah.
If he could make it without her.
Hate to see
But
that.
because I was thinking like, she's struggling, or she says she's struggling mentally, leaving her kid and whatever. And I fully believe that if Brock is not the cause of it, he's certainly aggravating that and is having like a detrimental effect on her mental health. And I look back at her relationships that we've seen on the show with her ex-husband and with Max, and the way she brags about all the men she dated, even though the men don't want to talk about it or don't want to be related to her at all. And I'm thinking like, Scheana Shay was left every single time. She's not the person to leave. And I don't think, I mean, she may want her best interest and be sort of like a desperate type of person, but I don't think she likes herself very much. I don't think she likes other women either. And I could totally see her being in that toxic situation because she doesn't have the best self-esteem. But I can totally see her being this pick me girl and just being like a trend follower, not a trailblazer. I can see her going the Lala route and being like, "Oh, we're both single moms now, and we're both hanging out, and this is gonna be our shtick."
Me too.
Having bad men in our lives that we have to co-parent with. I could see that. Maybe
Yeah,
she needs that little Lala influence to leave.
yeah.
Because all the relationships in her life, like she was,
Hold up. I would watch that. Lala
I
and
mean,
Scheana. Wait, Lala and Scheana take WeHo.
so I wouldn't watch anything with either one of them because I think they're too boring. But she was the married one. She was the first one to get married. And now she's gonna be the last one to divorce because Katie divorced, Ariana separated. Kristen is on her like something boyfriend or husband or whatever she's doing. Jack's divorcing, possibly rumored, right?
I
And
think
Lala, Lala divorcing James, moved on to Raquel. She's the last married person.
Last
That's not that. I think she's next. I think she's next on the
Oh yes,
divorce.
she's like, are you kidding me? All my friends are single. It's like single in our 40s time. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That actually sounds exciting, dude.
And that would be the perfect close because a lot of people are saying like, no, VPR is gonna end, and then they're going to do spin-offs and whatever. And the season was supposed to end, whatever. But that would be the perfect close because like Scheana gets married. Scheana opened the season by being with a
Yes, she
married man.
did.
But then, she gets married to Shay. Her whole wedding was a whole thing. And now the closing of an era is she dumps Brock and is moving on with her life. That's like
And then
a wrap.
closing, yes, a wrap on VPR, and then they go on to do spin-offs. And then it's like who survives of the spin-offs.
Oh, sort of like almost like a reality. I don't know anything about traders, but this is what traders sound like to me. Like one of you guys will be out by the end of the season.
Yeah, it's
That's
not,
not what danger is
it's
about.
not that.
Whatever, you'll have to explain traders to me one day. But yeah, I mean, the end of an era.
In conclusion, she hearts Brock.
In conclusion, I think Scheana hearts Brock. Dude, show me how people are doing it now.
Like this.
No, there's people that are doing it weird. Oh, nice.
How the fuck are you getting all those hearts, bruh? That's not fair, Zoom. I'm doing it as pretty as you.
Sue is like, there's no way you love this bitch.
Like, subscribe.
I know my man loves me. His actions every day shows how much he loves me. But we don't say it. I feel it. I don't want to like be this dumb girl who's in love with someone who's not in love with her. If he's not at the point where he's as in love as I am, I'm okay with that because I know he loves me.
Boom, roasted.